Hello, my name is Tim Erickson, and I'm here with Simplo by Triplo today to talk a little bit about using taxonomy terms for navigation in Backdrop CMS. We're doing this video today because a question came up in the backdropcms.org forum, and we thought it would just be a good opportunity to visit what is a pretty common use case and something that a lot of users want to do. It's not exactly straightforward necessarily how to do this without a little bit of research. So we're going to actually look at a couple of different solutions today. So before doing this video today, I actually wrote a blog post sort of outlining with some screenshots everything we're going to talk about today. So if you prefer reading things, at simplo.site, we have a blog post that covers this. The video will be following along pretty closely to what I did at the blog post. This is our after site. This is what what it'll look like when we're done. And basically, the idea here is that you can use taxonomy terms to navigate around your site. And really, I see three different solutions to this. One of which is a views exposed filter, another of which would be a taxonomy menu in a block, and then also a tag cloud using a module called Tagadelic. Any of these three would work. This taxonomy block is currently sort of showing a list like this. This could be placed in other ways, like it could be a menu across the top of the page, could be themed in a variety of ways. We won't get into all the details, but anyways, this will get you started on a couple of different options or modules you can use to use taxonomy terms to navigate around your site. Okay, now we're starting with a fresh site. I haven't done anything with this site, and we're going to go ahead and try to accomplish the same thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to create a new vocabulary. So under structure, we're going to add a vocabulary called categories. There we go. We've created the categories. We're not going to create any terms because we're going to use the Devel module, Devel generate, to automatically generate some terms for us. And then we're going to create a content type we're going to call stories. We'll leave all the other default settings, and we're simply going to add a categories field. And we're going to use a term reference here, and we'll just leave the autocomplete widget. Save. Category, save. I'm going to leave all the other defaults. Nothing special today. Okay, now what we want to do is enable the Devel module. So I'm going to go to under functionality, install new modules. And this is primarily for the purposes of this demonstration, but it could be useful for you in testing this out. So I go ahead and hit the install. I go through the install process. And then we're going to go ahead and enable all three versions. We probably don't need Devel Node Access today, but I'm just in the habit of when I enable Devel. These are modules you can turn off on your live site, but just use during development. So now that we've created that, again, we have a site. There isn't any content in the site yet, but we've created a vocabulary called categories, and we've created a content type called stories. So we're going to go under here to the development menu, which is here just because of the Devel module, and we're going to go generate content. And I'm going to start by generating some terms. That's the middle tab here. And really all I need are some categories. I want about 10 of them. For demonstration purposes, I like to keep them relatively short, about 7 characters each. And that's really all I need to do. I hit generate. Okay, and we can see there are 7 random, artificial categories that have been created. And then I'm going to go to generate some nodes. This is to generate some actual content. And again, I'm just going to do what we're focused on today, stories. We'll go ahead and do 50 nodes. It doesn't matter. I like to keep their titles not too long because sometimes they get pretty crazy. Go ahead and generate. Okay, Devel Generate has created 50 nodes for us. So now if we go into content, there we go. We can find a bunch of nodes or stories, and in each story has at least probably one category. And if you click on the category, it takes you to a list of other stories with that same category. But we can't get to like any category from this page. That's the problem. We can, if I go to the home page Anytime I see a category, so if I click on any other art story and I see a category there, I can go ahead and click on it. It'll take me there. But I want to be able to navigate from any one category to another. And that's what we're going to try to solve today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try a module called Taxonomy Menu. I went to the project installer and backdrop. I'm going to go ahead and just search for taxonomy. And there, right at the top, taxonomy module. Install. Okay, so now we've installed and enabled the taxonomy menu. What this does is give us the ability to go to our vocabularies. So we're going to go under structure, taxonomy, go to categories, and here are settings for the taxonomy menu. And the first thing I notice, oh, it is here, what we want to include in the menu. And basically what I want to do is go to our menus and create a new menu called categories. There we go. I'm not bothering with any description. I always encourage you to add a little bit of descriptive text here, but to keep this short, we're going to skip along. And now I'm going to go back to taxonomies, and we're going to click our categories, and we're going to go directly to the configure this time. I can use that, go here. And now if we scroll down through this, we can find the categories menu, and that's what will be used for our block. There we go. So I went ahead and added a little bit of description for our taxonomy term now. So we've created a menu called categories, and we've configured our taxonomy called categories to use that menu. What that will do is give us a block if we now go to our layouts, and all of the pages that we want this block are going to be in the default layout. So we're going to go to the default layout, manage block, and we're going to go over here. This is sort of the default setup, a backdrop out of the box. I'm going to go ahead and add a block to that right sidebar. Just start typing categories, and it's going to give us the category menu. We'll just use the default menu. I'm not going to change anything else for now, although we do want to set visibility condition. We're going to set the visibility condition based on the URL and basically set some paths. What paths do we want to show our block on? And basically, if we're on any story, we want to be able to click on the taxonomy terms related to stories, or if we're on any category page. The /* is basically a wildcard that says any path that has stories /anything or categories /anything will have this block. So I'm going to go ahead and add visibility condition, update block. We're going to go to save layout. We'll go to our home page now. We won't see anything different on the home page, but if we click on any one of these stories, there we go. We have a menu in the right sidebar that lists all of the terms. There's a little bit of hierarchy here. If you don't need that, you can squash it. I just left it. It was sort of randomly generated by the Devel module. If I click on any one of these terms, it's going to take me to that term page. Okay, it still has the block here. I can see all the other stories that use this category. I can open up, read the entire story, and either click on the term for this one or go back to the category menu. It's right here, and pick a different category, find another story. Let's try one more thing. Let's try configuring this block. And if we configure the block, we'll see we have a few choices. We have a hierarchical tree, or we could do something like a drop-down menu, and then we could hit update block. Probably, in this case, we're going to move that categories from there up to the top. We're going to put it there right above the breadcrumbs, maybe. Just see how it works. And basically now it's giving us a menu sort of across the top of the page. We could have put that up in the header if we wanted. Actually, let's move this. There we go. We moved it up into the header. Maybe a little better to see how it works there. So there's drop downs for any second level categories. These are all the first level ones. So there's a few different options. We're not going to go into them all now, but you can basically see how the taxonomy menu block works. So going back here, that would be this middle option that we just looked at. Let's take a quick look at the bottom option, the Tagadelic cloud. Okay, so I'm back to the site. We're going to have to add another module. Again, we'll go to the project installer, search for Tagadelic. We find it, go ahead and do the install. Okay, we installed and enabled Tagadelic. Nothing's changed yet. We did hide the block for our taxonomy menu. And now what we are going to do is, under content authoring, there is some configuration for Tagadelic. On the Tagadelic configuration page, we have a couple of options. First of all, the sort order of the tags, or in this case, categories, the amount of categories we want to see on the page, the maximum, and the size differential between the smallest and the largest. What Tagadelic does is create a tag cloud with more frequently used tags or categories being larger and lesser used ones being smaller. Okay, so we're not going to change any of this. We're just going to go back to our layout menu. And again, we're going to go on the default page layout, because the default is what we are using for all of the pages we want this. We're going to hit add block. We're going to start typing category. And this time it says tags in category. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Here we go, a custom title. We're going to do the same visibility conditions that we did before. URL path. There we go, stories / wildcard and categories / wildcard. Update the block, save. Okay, now as we visit any story, there we have our little tag cloud. We can click on any tag, it takes us to that tag page. We can click on different ones. And again, this is showing up on any of the category pages or on any of the individual story pages. So there we go. So now we have two different ways of showing the categories, the category tags and navigating around this site. Let's look at one more using views. This one we wouldn't have really needed to install any contrib modules to do. Okay, I removed that block, and now we're going to go and create a view. We're going to go to views, add a view, call it stories, because we're going to do this differently now. We're going to show content of all type stories, so we want to show all stories on a page. We'll show teasers of them. We'll use a pager. I'll bump that up to 15 per page. And that's all we need. Configure and save. And then we're going to create a filter. And we're going to say, so actually let's auto preview. So obviously what the view is right now is showing us teasers for every story. But then we're going to go ahead and create a filter and say filter by category. So we start typing that, it shows us our options, and here's a field we can use to filter by. Add in configure filter. We'll do an autocomplete, or actually let's do a drop down. And basically I'm going to say is one of, the filter is basically going to let you pick, you could pick multiple tags, and if any one of them are attached to a story, that will show. So we don't need, we want to click the expose this filter to visitors. That's it. Now the next trick here is exposed form. We'll tell you what, let's go ahead and save this. We're going to go to the stories page. Okay, so we're on the stories now page. This is the view of all the stories with their teasers. But if we click on any individual story, there's no way here to navigate. We can't navigate to other tags or other categories from an individual story page. So what we want to do is go back to the structure menu. And actually, we're going to do a couple of things. One of the things we're going to do is change the title of this filter. Right now, the filter has this categories and then in parentheses, field categories. We're going to delete that, so that just makes it a little prettier. But we also basically want to take that exposed filter and put it in a block that we can put on other pages. So we're going to come over here to where it says create exposed form block and say yes, apply, save. Okay, and now again, we'll quickly look at the home page. We're not seeing that filter anywhere. We would see this filter if we go to the stories view. Actually, we don't see it there either because we put it in a block and we haven't placed that block anywhere. So now what we need to do is go to the layout again. We're going to go to the default layout, and in the sidebar, I'm just going to start typing views. I forget, and there we go. We have an exposed form, stories. So this would be the exposed filter from our stories. We want to call it categories because that's what it is. It lets us pick from the different categories, and we want to go to the visibility conditions and do the same thing. We want visibility conditions based on the URL path, and we want it to show up on the stories page itself on any stories slash. And we don't actually need categories now because we're not using taxonomy pages. This filter is either filtering by category right there on the stories page without changing the URL. It doesn't go to categories slash. It just stays there and filters out the content. Or we want it to show up on any individual story page, which is where the slash asterisk comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and add that visibility condition. I changed the title. We're going to save this layout, go back to the home page. We'll click on any individual story. Each of these, so now we're on an individual story, stories slash something. And then if we click on, if we select, actually, and we can select multiple categories and we hit apply, it's going to show us any stories that have either of those categories. We could do just one. But you'll notice in all of these cases up at the top, the path is still slash stories with some extra qualifiers here for the view. But all we're doing, we're not moving from page to page. We're just filtering what we're seeing on this single page. Anyways, this is another way of navigating around using category taxonomy. And I think that's it for this video. I've got nothing else to show you. If this has been helpful, please like the video, comment on it, or subscribe to our channel. We have lots of other Backdrop CMS tutorial videos at Team Triplo on YouTube. And also visit us at simplo.site to spin up your own Backdrop CMS site and start building your own website. Thank you.